This is from Quartermax, primarily drag racing suspension components, but we're going to use this on our lowered F350. This one's got an 1.5-inch tube. A nice thick steel tubing, 1-inch wall, 1.5-inch diameter anti-roll bar. This is why I went with the Quartermax instead of a Speedway or one of the other companies. Right here. So if you can see that, those are bronze bushings. So should be a lifetime piece, really. I've never heard of these going bad or wearing out over time. So very nice piece. They got a little groove in them with zerk fitting for grease, keep them nice and quiet. All the tabs to mount them to your chassis. Comes complete with all the Heims inserts for the tubes. The tubes themselves. I'll show you all this. So, like I was saying, beautiful pieces here. Nice bronze bushing on the inside. Perfectly machined pieces. The bracketry for them looks to be laser cut, and they fit in there just like that. And this will weld to your chassis. The bar will go through here. Very nice piece. You also got tabs to mount the axle. Notch these out to fit the contour of your axle wherever you place them. So that's nice. You got all really nice Heim joints with inserts for your tube. These are your drop tubes. These will just press in there. Nice tight press fit. And you weld those in. So let's see that arms. Looks very similar to the Speedway setups or any other of the setups. The same basic price as the higher end Speedway one, but it comes with bronze bushings, not a rubber bushing. One thing I really liked about this one is it also includes little strap pieces for your arms, so you can come in here, customize your length, and weld these in to fit in between two of them, so it's all closed in, not just a couple brackets in. Gives you a cleaner look, a little more work to weld all this stuff in there, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. Comes with all the hardware. You can mount all of your brackets here, as well as the grease zerks for your bushings, as well as instructions. And assume this gives you all your setup and everything, which it does. Tells you the degrees of which it should be sitting. Not sure if this is the right height or what, but we'll go through that when I install it. So I'll show you all that stuff. Alright, so everything comes cut, ready to weld up and assemble. They don't clean up any of the holes, so there's a little bit of burr left on the inside of the tubes. I'm just going to use handy and clean up the inside. Just run it in there a few times, get that burr removed and cleaned up. And then that way these inserts are nice. These inserts are a nice tight fit inside this tube. Weld that up and it should be good to go. So behind on each end, work just like that. Run your welds around them. You do have one that has a hex on the actual insert itself. That way you can adjust this in and out while it's in the car. Really nice piece that some of the other companies don't offer. As far as these go, they're pretty well fit. You might have to come in here and do the same thing with your deburr tool or knock off the little nipple that's left after the plasma cutter and clean those up so your oil bushings will fit. That's going to be it for right now until we get to install this. And weld everything up. I'll show you when I install everything, kind of walk you through the process that I go through. Alright, as you can see, I got this side all finished up, ready to go. And we're just working on this side. Now the main tube's cut to fit. You're cutting off this excess to make it the width that I want. From Quarter Max, they want you to weld these bushings in between these two plates, like that. I, however, am going to be mounting mine on the outside edge of my tubes. That way I can just replace these without cutting the tube or cutting these apart. I can replace just this if I ever needed to. So I'm going to be running mine on the outside of them, just for removal purposes. And hopefully it'll turn out alright. Make sure when you're tacking these up that you have your hymen here or some kind of a spacer. Make sure your spacing's right for when you weld this up. Your hymen joint will still fit. So I'm going to go ahead and weld this whole arm up just like we did this other side, and we'll get it all cleaned up, cut off the excess. I'll mount my my bushings and get it mocked up inside the truck. We got everything plug welded up. All the holes that I want to plug weld are done. Just need to come back, sand these down, clean them up. The inside of this side's pretty well done. Just need to come back and sand everything down, get rid of any surface rust, and then paint it. So you can see I removed this cross member right here, welded in this brace, keep everything nice and square in there. Remove the brace so I can get back in here, clean up all these plug welds, clean the frame, and then I'll bolt everything back in. Also make it so I can remove this if I need to. Especially when I come back to do my driveline hoop, I can pull that whole cross member out, and then I'm going to weld the anti-roll bar to this. Once the axle's in, we get all of our tabs and everything lined up perfect, and I can remove that, final weld it, bolt it back in. Back here we got a hidden receiver that goes behind the roll pan. It's not very heavy duty, so I'm probably going to make another one and weld it into the frame rails here. Tuck it behind the roll pan nice. Keep it clean back here. Like I said, we're going to be removing this for the anti-roll bar. Going to be some 2x2 bracing in between these step notches. A little more bracing, and also maybe put in a gooseneck hitch. All the plug welds are done. Everything that I'm going to plug up, sanded, painted. The 4-link brackets all painted up, welded on. Trusses are fully boxed in, finished up. So now I can start fitting in the rear end, the 4-link and all that. But I don't have paint for my link bars, so I'm gonna have to go get some paint. Okay guys, as you can see, I got the full 4-link all the way in, axles in. So you can put airbags in so I can start running hard lines for my airbags. So I'm gonna make shock mounts, upper shock mounts. We'll go back in here. So I'll have to cut the cross member, make my hoop for it, for the drive line. But yeah guys, it's all in there. The airbags in, start making cross bracing for here, and get the sway bar installed. Okay. As you can see, I got one link set up here. There's right hand threads in this side, left hand threads in this side. So as you turn this, it'll lengthen or shorten, whatever you need. To get a nice straight cut, I just run a piece of tape around it, make sure it's nice and straight, make my cut, and then sand it down to the tape. Put a nice little bevel on it, so you got a good bevel there to weld. Getting ready to weld in the anti-roll bar. I tack some plates into the back cross member here on both sides. A nice surface to work off of. And we'll get the sway bar set in here. Alright, you can see got that plate welded in back there. Got my tabs welded. Sway bars in. Have the end links just tacked in so I can travel it, make sure everything's happy. It is. So now I can pull that back out. Final weld my link tabs. and then I'll pull this cross member out, clean it up, and fully weld it. Alright, as you can see, you got the rear cross member cleaned up pretty well. Just have it bolted in right now. I'm gonna mark everything for the sway bar. Once the sway bar's in there, get it all tacked up. Alright, so we got the sway bar tacked in there. Brackets are all tacked in. Everything moves freely. It clears the pumpkin, but just barely. This is a full compression, so this is the closest it'll ever get, which is still about a finger width. It's not a lot of room, but it will work, and it'll live in there happy. These bushings are removable, like I showed you in the last video. Just pull those two bolts, and that bushing will slide forward and out. I've already put it in and out with the cross member in a couple times, make sure everything clears, just so I can service this if I ever need to. I'm gonna go ahead and final weld all the way across both the top and the bottom. Sand her down, clean it up, paint it, and put it back in the truck. The rear cross member's all done. Everything's all final welded in there, looking nice, and a nice coat of paint on it. We also got the forward cross member with driveline hoop. Didn't show you a whole lot of that, just thought I'd slap it together. Point of clearance for the driveline. Nice little race style hoop. So that'll work out awesome. Look really nice under there as well. Alrighty, so we got the frame cleaned and painted. All the rust, everything's cleaned up. Now we're ready to put back in the cross members. Once those are in and bolted down all the way, then I'll remove my cross bracing, get all that out of here. And after that, we're gonna slap on the bed. So I'm gonna cut out the step notch inside the bed, and we'll get the bed set on here. And really get to see what this thing looks like. Okay, now that we got all that finished up, installed, I'm gonna start running the air lines and brake lines after I get the bed on here. I think I want to get the bed on so I can start making the cross bracing and fifth wheel hitch. So I'll get the bed on here probably tomorrow. I still have to cut all the wheel wells out and tub it, so maybe get that done tomorrow and hopefully set it on here just to see what she's gonna look like all the way down. Start routing brake lines, air lines, like I said, figure out what I'm gonna do for the fifth wheel hitch and all the bracing in there. I'm gonna install both gas tanks. I modified this one already. I'll show you what I did there. Got a 36 or 38 gallon, I can't remember what it is, for the back here, both the sumps. Then I can start running fuel lines up to fuel pumps.